Nemo Radio is on the air.
A, B, C. A, always B, B, C, closing. Always be closing. Always be closing.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Put that coffee down. Coffee's for closers only.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
So I wanted to talk to you about one of the biggest mistakes I see small business owners and consultants and others make when it comes to sales and lead generation. And that is simply forgetting this timeless truth that the fortune is in the follow-up. I know a lot of people don't want to hear this. I know I didn't want to hear it for many years, but once I really remembered this and learned this and put it into practice, it really changed my revenue level. It changed my entire business. And so in this video and in this podcast, I'm going to share some of my favorite kind of creative follow-up strategies, because I know there's two phases to this, right? One is simply having the mindset of, I need to follow up. My motto personally, following up, and again, to clarify this, if someone shows interest in your products, your services, your free content, your tips, I consider that a lead. I consider that an opportunity, and I'm going to follow up with that person until one of two things happens. Either they give me a hard no, I'm not interested, or I'm dead. Right? That's my personal philosophy. You cannot follow up enough. And I want to start here because so many people have the mindset, and I used to have this too, hey, listen, if I'm going to reach out to them, if they don't get back to me, or I'm going to send I'll send the examples, or I'll send the proposal, or I'll send whatever it is. And then if I don't hear back, I guess they're not interested. And I don't want to bother them. I don't want to be a pest. And you have to remember a couple of key things about a good sales mindset. One is, if you really believe in what you're doing, your product, your service, don't consider it selling. Consider it helping. Consider it serving. If I truly believe that I can help you generate leads on LinkedIn, create amazing content, build a powerful personal brand, I want to help people. I want to serve people. I know I can do that. So I want to follow up with you to see if I can help you, right? Because I know I can, and I believe in it, and I've seen the power of it time and again with our clients that do so well with our services. So it's a passion for me. It's not, I'm going to sell you something, you're not going to get results, or you're not going to get a good outcome. That's a key thing, is you've got to believe in your product, believe in your service, know that it will work for the right type of client that will actually use it and implement it, whatever it might be. So one is, get out of the mindset of selling and get into the mindset of serving and helping. Like, I want to see if I can help you. Like, this is a legitimate thing. Two is understanding people are so busy. People are so distracted. People have so much going on. They will say they're interested in something, and then life will get in the way. Work will get in the way. Distractions will get in the way. So you've got to understand that you need to follow up. And again, you've seen this time and again in different marketing studies and sales studies and lead generation studies. It takes 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 follow-ups to get someone to engage. And again, understand the value of this. It depends on what you're selling. If you're selling a $5 widget, then yeah, are you going to chase someone 10 times to buy a $5 product? No. But if you're selling a $50,000 consulting service, it's probably worth your investment of your time, energy, and effort to follow up with that person until you get a yes or a no, correct? So understanding the value of what you're doing, the value of one sale should dictate the amount of follow-up, the amount of energy, the amount of effort. And what I've learned is, having done this for clients for over a decade, having done it for myself, I have seen sales come through after chasing someone for a year or 2 years. And I know that sounds crazy, right? But again, if you're talking about a 5 or 6 figure sale and just finding a way to stay in touch with someone for, a month, 6 months, a year, if they say to you, hey, the timing's not right, come back next quarter. Okay, making a note in your calendar that pops up. Oh yeah, this is the quarter. I'm going to check back in. Like, finding that timing, staying in front of them is really key. And it does work. It does work. The fortune is in the follow-up. I just had a great story of this with my son. He's an entrepreneur, a teenager. He started his first business when he was 11 years old, and he does claw machines, that come down and grab prizes. And now he wants to expand into vending machines. Well, he had a prospect that was interested, a local business, about putting a vending machine in, a food and drink machine. So he talked with them. We met with them. He pitched him his stuff, and they said, okay, we're going to think about it. And then he had to chase them for a couple of weeks to get them to say, yes or no, do you want to engage and have me put a machine in? And they finally said, yes, we want to engage. Let's figure out, a profit sharing structure, meaning you put your machine in, you make your drink sales, your food sales. We want a cut of the revenue because it's our facility. We want something, in return for letting you put your machine in. So he put together a proposal. He sent it to them and he didn't hear anything. Right, for 1 week, for 2 weeks. And so he came to me as a kid, a teenager, and like, well, what should I do? Does that mean they don't like me? They're not interested? Should I give up? And I was like, no, they're probably busy, right? Like, always give the prospect the benefit of the doubt. So I said, give them the benefit of the doubt, let them save face. So when you're following up, use language like, I'm sure you're super busy. I'm sure life got in the way. And he did, and I helped him craft a follow-up where he said, I'm sure life has gotten in the way. I'm sure you guys are really busy. I just wanted to check back on the profit sharing proposal I sent you last week or 2 weeks ago. And they wrote him back and they're like, yeah, thanks for following up. When someone says thanks for following up, that should be a green light for you, right? Thanks for following up. They told him we were on vacation and now we're, behind on business stuff. Give us another week. So he gives him a week. He follows up, doesn't hear anything. Waits a week, follows up again. Hey, I'm sure you're still digging out of, catching up from your vacation. I hope you're having a great week. Nothing happens, right? So then I say, well, get more creative. Try another communication tool. You've been doing email, try text. So he texts them a nice message. Hey, I know it's probably buried in your email inbox. Just wanted to follow up and see if you had, thoughts on my profit sharing proposal. And again, this is probably his 8th, 9th follow-up over 30 days. And they finally write back on text, yeah, we want to do it. Done deal. Let's roll. And he's jumping for joy because he's got another machine in. He's got a new client. And he even said to me, yeah, you're right. The fortune's in the follow-up. Like if he would have given up, they got busy. Life got in the way. They were on vacation. They came back from vacation. They were digging out. His email got buried in their inbox. They had more pressing things to do than, talk to a potential vendor. So you can't take it personally. You can't feel hurt about it. You can't think they're ignoring you. And you can't think, one of the keys I've learned from Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People, is you have to put yourself in the mind of your prospect. What are they thinking about on a daily basis? What are their priorities? What are they most worried about? It's not you. Right? They've got, if they have a family, if they have kids, if they have life, if they have health issues, if they have employees, if they have a business, if they have their hair on fire about, an IT issue, you've got to know that you've just got this little space of mind share for them. And so you've got to stay persistent and consistent. Now, we got through that part, right? So the mindset of the fortunes in the follow-up till you're dead, right? Again, put the follow-up priority in relation to the potential reward. Again, if this is a $5 sale, a $100 sale, that's probably a different level of follow-up than a $100,000 sale, correct? So let's just say that for what it is. Now, what are some creative ways that you can follow up without being a pest, without being annoying, without doing the classic, just checking in, just bumping this to the top of your inbox, just wanted to check back, just wanted to circle back? I know and you know that those get ignored and they're not useful and they're not helpful. Here's what I found instead. Here's several different creative ways to kind of get your follow-up in front of a prospect without just being ignored or using kind of the status quo. So one is send something personal. And what I mean by that is if you've talked to a prospect already, or even better, if you're using LinkedIn, you can look at their LinkedIn profile, you can look at, content they've shared, and you can comment on something from their personal life, hobbies, where they went to school, the weather, where they live, anything, right? Look for an icebreaker not related to work. And this is especially helpful if you've already had a conversation with the prospect, you got to know them a little bit, their story. So for example, let's say your prospect has talked about, yeah, I'm really busy right now. I've got 4 kids and my son's in high school football. Say they haven't reached out to you for a few weeks and it's football season. Send a note that just says football and then, subject line, hey, I wonder how your son's, would love to hear how your son's football season is going. I'm sure things are busy for you as a football parent, blah, blah, blah. Like find something to talk about there. And then you can relate your own story. Hey, my son said high school football was some of his favorite memories, right? So you find a way to just do a little personal banter. You don't even mention the business. That's the other key thing is when you send a personal note, or you know that they're a fan of a certain sports team and that sports team just played over the weekend, send them a note and say something like, nice win for your team. I bet you were excited on Sunday to watch them pull out the victory. That's all. Just say that. Just do like a friendly personal note. Don't be like, oh, and P.S., what do you think of my proposal? Because they know. They'll remember, right? If you send them a personal note, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, that guy. Yeah, I had that proposal. I forgot to get back to him. Here's the thing, and I've learned this from Dale Carnegie, is our favorite topic on earth is ourselves. So if you send me a personal note about the following topics, I'm going to immediately reply to you whether I want to do business or not. If you send me notes about my favorite subjects in the world, which is myself and my passions, I'm going to engage with you. So if you talk to me about the Minnesota Vikings or hockey, because I live in Minnesota, I grew up playing ice hockey. I'm a fanatic about hockey. Anything about hockey, I'll talk about. Pearl Jam, my favorite band of all time, best band of all time, in case you're wondering. If you want to talk to me about my 3 kids, if you want to talk about Rosie the dog and how crazy she is and tell dog stories, those are things that I share out there with my content and share with people that will get my attention. So if you send me an email with the subject line Pearl Jam, I'm going to open it because it's Pearl Jam. It's my favorite band ever. Yeah, let's talk. Like, what do you got? Right. And then ask me like, so, what do you love about Pearl Jam? What's your favorite song, favorite concert, blah, blah. And I'll talk for days and days and days. There's a great example of this from Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People, where, again, back in the 1930s, when he wrote this book, there was a sales guy that was really struggling to win this account. And he'd go in and he would talk to the president of this company, and he would pitch all this business stuff, and the guy would blow him off or kick him out of the office or say, I'm not interested. I don't have time. I can't take your meeting. And in one of the meetings, he noticed this president had opened a stamp book of stamp collectors, right? So he's like, oh, what's that? And he's like, oh, it's my son's stamp collection. He's into collecting stamps, which was the thing back then, right? And the salesman's like, oh, okay. And then the president, of course, talking about his family, which he loves to talk about, was like, yeah, he cannot find this one stamp. He's been looking forever. I was going through his book today to see if I could help find it. Anyway, what do you want to pitch me today? And the guy's like, nothing happened. He leaves the meeting, didn't get the deal. He went out, he found the stamp that the president was looking for, said, I have a meeting. I want to talk to you about your son. And the guy's like, okay, well, I'll take the meeting. You want to talk about my kid? What's this, right? The guy's like, here, I found the stamp that you mentioned last week that you were looking for. And the guy's like, oh my God, this is great. My son's going to be so happy. Now so while you're here, let's talk about your proposal again. Let's look at it more. And all of a sudden, the guy was interested in the topic. He closed the deal and got, through his son's stamp collection. So that's a way to follow up with just a personal note. Again, you don't have to allude to the business deal, the proposal, the examples. They know. Just be a friendly person. That's the other thing is you can, be friendly, and you talk about what they're passionate about in real life. That also gives the prospect permission just to banter with you, and it's not just business. It tells the prospect kind of subconsciously, oh, they actually are paying attention to me. They care about me as a person. They're interested in my favorite topic on earth, which is me and my interests, right? They're asking me about my favorite football team. Well, of course I want to talk about that. Why wouldn't I want to talk about my favorite passions with this person on email, LinkedIn, whatever? That's a great way to stay in touch with people over a long period of time, especially if they say the timing's not right, da-da-da-da-da. Instead of just checking in quarter two, be like, hey, how have things been going? I bet you're excited about the Chicago Bears. They're doing really well. And then they'll banter with you. That will have them remember you. They'll feel a connection. They'll feel warmth. They'll feel some emotion about that relationship with you. So that's my first tip, is use something personal in the follow-up, not related to business. And again, if you don't get that from the first conversation with the prospect, just pull it from their LinkedIn profile or follow their social media online. They will tell you what they're interested in. Look at their Facebook, Instagram, whatever. They'll share their life and their hobbies and their passions and what they ate for lunch. And you can comment on it, follow them, and use that. The other really creative thing I love to do, a second great idea, is to use personalized video. And so what I mean by this is there's a great tool called Loom, LOOM.com. There's other competitors, I'm sure. But what I like to do, if I've got a prospect that I've talked to, they're interested, but they're not moving forward, maybe they're not booking a call with me, maybe they're not getting back to me about a proposal, I will go on their website or their LinkedIn profile, and I will shoot a short video. And what I'll do is I'll say, hey, Sally, I'm on my favorite LinkedIn profile, ha, 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 right? Because it's them. It's a picture of them. It's their website. It's their logo. It's their face. They're going to open the video. They're going to see that in the thumbnail and go, oh, you're on my website. What are you talking about? You're talking about me. Oh, cool. And so then you do a video and you say, hey, I was just looking through your website, looking through your LinkedIn profile. I know we had talked about XYZ service. I had some thoughts for you. I saw you posted this. Have you thought about that? Or I noticed you said this in your profile. One of the things I'd love to do if we move forward with you is really utilize that over here. And here's an example of how we did that for a different client. And you can, again, just kind of tie into what they care about, which is themselves, and do it in a way visually where you're on their website, on their profile with Loom, and you're demonstrating some expertise. So not only are you talking about them, you're sharing ideas, you're demonstrating, hey, I saw this on your website. Are you using this tool or whatever it is related to your service? I even told my niece this when she was job hunting, starting out of college. She's like, how do I stand out from the crowd? I send in a resume. I don't hear anything. I said, well, you know who the hiring manager is, correct? Yeah, that's who I emailed or sent the LinkedIn application to. I said, go on their profile, go on the company website, make a Loom video, and just talk about what you're seeing for the role that you want. Like, I think it was in marketing she wanted. I said, go on there and just share your thoughts. Like, look at their website, give them some feedback. Say, hey, I know you're interested in, I'm applying for the marketing job. Just looking at your website, I had some immediate ideas for you guys of how you can improve your marketing with blah, 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 right? She did that with a personal Loom video, which guess what? No other applicants were doing. And she got an interview, and she actually ended up getting the job, I think, because she's awesome. And the whole idea, she was like, I never thought of that. And it's like, well, yeah, you're personalizing it. You're making it all about them, and you're standing out from the crowd. So if you think about the typical vendor or person following up, what do you get? Just an email. Hey, circling back. Hey, just curious. Hey, did you look at this? Bumping it to your inbox. It's not about you. There's no personal connection. You don't feel like they care about you as a human. And it's not about what you care about, which is your company, your problem, whatever. So if you stand out with some personalized outreach, especially with video, because video, you can see, the prospect can see you, hear you, listen to you, get to know you, and it's showing them something on their website that you can help with, or their profile, whatever it is. It really works well. And the third thing I love to do, and this is when you want to get really creative, is if someone says they're going to book time with you and you've given them your calendar link multiple times and they haven't booked, what I'll do is I'll just find their calendar link and I'll book time on their calendar. So I did this the other day with a prospect where we had been trying for, I think, 2 weeks to get a call booked, and the person was just ghosting or saying, yeah, I'll get to it. I'm busy. I'll book later. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to look on their website. And sure enough, they had, book time with me. So I'm like, yeah, okay. So I just booked time, and then I made them a Loom video, and I said, hey, it's John Nemo. I went ahead and took the liberty of booking time on your calendar, as you can see here. I just thought it'd be easier for you. Then that way you don't have to try to accommodate my schedule. I'll accommodate your schedule. I went ahead and just booked a time. I'm super excited to follow up with you about the LinkedIn lead generation. And listen, if things have changed and you don't want to, explore that anymore, totally fine. Just cancel the meeting. Let me know. Otherwise, I'm super excited to talk to you on Monday. And the person wrote back and they laughed and said, man, you're persistent. I love it. Talk to you Monday. Right. Again, they were busy. Life got in the way. I wasn't the top of their mind, the top of their priority to go into my calendar and try to find times that work for them and look at their own calendar. So make it easy for them. Just use their calendar, right? Like, if people are putting their calendar out there, book the time, and then you can always give them permission to back out. But again, it's another way to be creative. And it all comes down to a philosophy I first heard Zig Ziglar say, and he said, shy salespeople have skinny kids. It's so true. And when I used to not have a good mindset around selling and following up, I would send an email, I would send a proposal, and then I would sit and wait. And if they didn't write back, I'd feel sorry for myself. And I think there's something wrong with me. I wouldn't follow up. And, I learned over the years, like, oh man, the fortune's in the follow-up. Either follow up until they give you a hard no, or come back at this time, or you're dead, right? Again, if you follow up, you're going to get the opportunities. And if you follow up in a way that's creative and personal and fun, like I've demonstrated here in this episode, you're going to get people to engage and write back and move forward with you. So there you go. Hope you found that helpful. Super excited to hear if you try this. Let me know how it goes, and we'll see you soon in another episode.